Hello everyone, I am Öztürk and I am studying at Osman Gazi University. Today my friend Hala talk about the first part of the MOOC, how to succeed as a newly qualified teacher, and I will move on the second part of the victory. And my presentation will last about 20 minutes. So this is my content. Today I will talk about continuing professional development for new teachers. And here there are 6 parts: observation, directed CPD sessions, ongoing studies, reading, membership of professional bodies or networks, action research in the classroom. And the next part is target setting for new teachers. And the last part is success as a new teacher. So let's get started with the first part, continuing professional development for teachers, for new teachers. So teachers, as we remember that teachers need to be free, need to be independent in the classroom, but also teachers need to develop themselves. And teachers need to find opportunities to develop themselves. So there are different kind of CPD opportunities here: observation, directed CPD sessions, ongoing studies, reading, membership of professional bodies or network, action research in the classroom. And there are plenty more ideas that you can find. And so let's get started with the first one, observation. Observation is a particularly important activity to engage with as a new teacher. And as we all go to practicums in 4th grade in the university, while we are going practicums, we find a chance to observe the classroom atmosphere, classroom structure and the techniques that teacher use. Also, a student can find opportunity to observe the school's culture, the school atmosphere. But this opportunity is limited in the practicums, so we can find other opportunities to observe in our own times. And observation is not signposted. And the new students, new teachers, need to be proactive in identifying observation opportunities. And observing more experienced college is an obvious starting point. And when we become a teacher in a new school, we are a stranger in here, and we must observe the system, the culture of the school, the system and the culture of the classroom, so that we could be beneficial for our students. So observing college who present themselves in ways that resonate with you can help you become the teacher you would like to be. And seeing in action is more important than read a policy. Then, prior to observing college, before observing college, it is important to think carefully about what you want to focus on, and attention to detail in small, focused ways. And attention to these details is more useful than a more general overview. And don't feel you need to observe the whole lesson. Just starts and our ending points are enough. Then peer observation. Peer observation can feel less uncomfortable than observing more experienced college, as follow-up conversations can be more open and explorative. And while we are collaborating our peers, we can work together with them so that we can observe more comfortably. And exploring a classroom strategy together can also be a useful process. Also, as you develop experience, you may start observing college as a part of their CPD. And many schools in that part open their policies, and the schools encourage the staff to collaborate with each other's classroom. So you may find this process is formalized as a part of quality assurance policy. You may also find yourself observing trained teachers. And giving feedback is important. Giving feedback on lessons initially can be quite difficult, and you may feel like a bit of an imposter. Try not to remember, even if the staff are highly experienced, they may feel anxious about your feedback. And plan this carefully and think about what is your focus, and think of it more as a conservation rather than one way of process. And long term, you may want to be a mentor yourself. So engaging in learning conservation from early in your career is useful. And this constructive feedback is very beneficial for you. And by giving by your peer, given by your mentor, is while they are constructive feedback, it is important and it is beneficial for you. And the second one is directed CPD sessions. As a newly qualified teacher, you may find your school, trust, or local authority put on specific CPD sessions for you. And these sessions can be repetitive, and you feel like I learned this and I covered these things, but you can find very different CPD sessions in here. And CPD sessions are also useful opportunity to meet college with different responsibilities, and you can find opportunity to have catch up with others at the same stage of their career as you. And aside from the generic provision, you may feel there are specific sessions you need. And by speaking your mentor about this, you can they may be able to develop provision within a school, or they can find external providers. And even teaching unions can find you CPD sessions for you. And before you apply to attend an external CPD session, you want to be careful because think carefully about how essential it is. And if there is any alternatives, online alternatives or free alternatives, because paying for CPD and covering classes in your absence can be expensive process. So head teachers can be reluctant to support such activities. So there are online CPD for you. And many remote courses and opportunities have been developed online, like Future Learn, this MOOC that we used in class. If you do find an online course that will be useful and ensure you give yourself time to complete it. And I find Inget, and I'm watching Inget videos, Inget sessions, so that I can observe a classroom atmosphere in CPDs, and I can learn a different type of techniques that I can use in my classes, in my future classes. So the third part is ongoing studies. For some new teachers, they are happy to continue their studies alongside their teaching. If you completed your postgraduate certificate education, you may find your credits will carry over to your master's. And speak to your local university provider, and they will be able to give you more details about it. And the fourth part is reading. One of the most accessible forms is via reading. This could be an online content, or using social media allows you to keep up to date in your areas of interest. And singing up these public publishers will give you regular updates on the latest publications. And you can often ask the inspection copies. And this is my English teaching forum that I use. And I will look new techniques, new strategies and I learned this by reading. So this kind of forums can be beneficial. And the next part is membership of professional bodies or networks. Your school may already be institutional member, but if not, there are reduced rates for new teachers. It is a useful way to keep in touch with the latest policy developments and research in education. You will also find a wealth of subject associations and organizations for you. Also, the sixth and last part is action research in the classroom. As a student teacher, you may have found yourself with a number of assignments directing you to read. And unless you continue with the further study, there is no formal requirement to continue with this type of work. But the most successful teachers are the ones that continue to explore new ideas. And as we know that education is always evolving and there are always missing parts that can be filled. So you will find time precious, and you may not want to spend a long time traveling through the long academic papers to organizations that provide useful summaries of ongoing research. The two sites that can help you by keeping in touch with the latest research and ideas, it allows you to make informed choices about activity and strategies to try in your own practice. And this is a really useful process to try collaboratively with colleagues in your school. And it also gives you a sense of autonomy over your practice and is an important part of your new freedom as a new teacher. And what CPD will help you? You can stop this video and answer the question. You can also write the comments part below. And the next part is target setting for new teachers. You will have targets from the end of your teacher training that can carry over into your first year as a new teacher. And in addition to target being especially around your application of the teaching standards in the classroom, you may well have wider targets around achievement that targets for your pupils. And you should have also opportunity to identify targets for your own personal professional development. And there is a mnemonic acronym in here by saying S.M.A.R.T. S.M.A.R.T. is a mnemonic acronym, and this gives criteria to guide in the setting of the goals and objectives. S stands for specific, M stands for measurable, A stands for achievable, and R stands for relevant, and the last T is for time bound. So this is an assignment given by Richard. And in this assignment, according to the S.M.A.R.T, there are 3 questions in here. Are they SMART targets? How the people who can support you been identified? And do you think to speedy opportunities? These are the questions that has been asked from the assignment. For example, let's look at Rachel's assignment. First, he assessed his action plan. What is his long-term goal? To teach a new course. And what is his specific career goal? He wants to explore new teaching methods, and he wants to develop skills, and he needs to integrate technology. And what are the key skills that need for each one of your goals? He wants knowledge of key principles of teaching and learning theories. He needs to become proficient. He needs to gain expertise. He needs to acquire the knowledge. He needs to implement technology in his course. These are the key skills needed for each one of your goals. And next, what skills do you need to work on? Lesson planning, class management are important skills that teachers need to be experts, need to be good at it. So, and the other part is, what actions are you going to take? What are you going to do? Attend training sessions. He is going to attend training sessions. He will talk to his supervisor or other college, and he will attend training sessions locally, and he can be enrolled online courses and attend webinars. And when are you going to complete his training? But it is important that you should give a realistic timeline to yourself. 6 months, 20 months, and 14 months. In here, there is an assignment for you that you can work together. In the next page, I will give a worksheet to you, and I will upload a link to below. And I want to ask you to think about your own personal targets for your development. Thinking about the CPD opportunities. By thinking those, please list 3 targets for yourself to complete over the next year. And for each target, assess the needed skills, the skills that you need to develop, and the actions that you need to do. For each target, suggest a time frame to complete it. And I can warn you that don't give yourself too much to do in a short space of time. And this is the page that I give you. And in the first part, this is your there is one long-term goal that you need to do for yourself. And to reach these long-term goals, you need to find 3 specific career goals. For these specific career goals, you need to assess 3 different skills that needed for, or the skills that you need to work on. And please do this, and I will upload a link below. Please stop the recording and assess your skills that you mentioned. And I will continue now. Please assess this table. And after assessing, please get together with your peer and evaluate each other's goals and journeys. Look at your peer paper and reflect on it. While reflecting, there are 3 questions in here. Are they SMART targets? We mentioned in a mnemonic acronym in the SMART part. Are they really SMART targets? Have the people who can support you been identified? Do you think to CPD opportunities? You can reflect while answering the questions. So let's continue with the last part, success as a new teacher. So let's watch this video.
When I first saw the question about my greatest achievement as an NQT, the first thing that popped into my head was my first class assembly. I teach year 1 at the moment, so they're children who are 5 and 6. And our first class assembly, which was back in the autumn term, was stressful. for myself and probably for the children too. But watching it and watching them become, actors, singers, news presenters made me so proud, and I could tell made them proud and made their parents proud. So that was probably what springs to my head when I think of a greatest achievement. But I would also say there's loads of little achievements that just add up to become something great. So, when a child tells you that they've named their teddy after you, or they've created something for you at home and brought it in, or they've just, hit the nail on the head on a concept that's taken so long to get to. I think, it's a stressful job teaching, and it's a to-do list that never ends, but there are so many little moments that add up to something great.
So one of the greatest successes I've had so far is when my class got up and performed in front of the school. It was definitely one of the proudest moments that I've had so far. So every teacher had the responsibility to choose a poem for the class to perform for Poetry Slam Week. I Saw My Teacher on a Saturday by Dave Crawley. And although some of the rehearsals were very stressful, when they got up to perform it, I was so impressed with the effort and the execution, the expression that every child had. I was just very proud of them all. So a way to celebrate, the children got some more gems in a jar, and because the gem jar was now full, they got to do their reward. The reward that they chose was making slime. And although making slime was a very messy experience, I wouldn't change anything at all. It was definitely a very proud moment from when they performed the poem, and they deserved the reward.
When we become a teacher in the future, we have this kind of experiences that we face through. So let's play a game together. Now that we learn all the parts that we covered today, so let's play a game. Let's. You ready? The first question is, which one of the opportunities below are not suited for CPD? Please stop the video and answer the question, because I will give the correct answer. The correct answer is speaking. Correct. Congratulations. So let's continue. The second question, be ready. Observation is signposted. Please stop the recording and answer the question. Please. And now I will answer the question. The people who said false is correct one, because observation is not signposted. It's proactive. You need to be proactive in the classroom. And the third question is, which of the following is an online CPD? Please stop the recording and answer the question. Yes, now that you answer the question, I will give the correct answer for you. Future Learn is the correct. Future Learn is the correct answer. Congratulations, the people who said the correct option. Question 4, be ready. Which one of the following is the correct opening of S.M.A.R.T? Is that a tricky one, isn't it? Yes, I think so. Please stop the recording and answer the question, because I will give the answer. The people who choose is correct. Congratulations. And the last question is, the last question is, observing more experienced college is an obvious blah, 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 blah point. Please stop the recording and answer the question because I will answer it. Yes, it is starting point. Starting, get the correct one. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. You did great, you did well. Thank you. So let's continue with our PowerPoint. After we play a game, yes. Oops. We came to do our page, yes. After we play a game, there is a video, professional development, nurturing the teachers as learner. Let's watch the video.
I have a confession to make. I am a professional development junkie. I work for Chicago Public Schools, and weekly the district sends out a teacher newsletter, and I immediately scan it for professional development opportunities that fit my teaching context, and then I register, and then I go to these workshops obsessively. I think that there are a lot of different reasons that teachers get into this profession. When I was little, my cousin Lisa and I used to always play school growing up. She's also a Chicago Public School teacher. But when I was younger, I never imagined that I'd actually be a teacher. And 11 years into this, I'm not quite sure how it is that this all happened. But I truly believe that what happens in my classroom matters. What happens in my classroom has the potential to impact students' futures and ultimately create a better world. I teach because I believe that this is a vocation of social justice. I teach middle school reading and writing, and my students are on these incredible journeys of self-discovery. We use literature, writing, and expression to give voice to who we are, to discuss, to argue, to contemplate. I love learning and enjoy the constant challenge of teaching. But more than learning, I enjoy being a learner myself. More than teaching, I enjoy being a learner myself. And so I attend professional development obsessively. It sustains me in this work. It nurtures me as both a person and an educator. We are not just conduits for our students' learning. As a teacher, I continuously model for my students what it is to be a lifelong learner by participating in professional development workshops and study groups. I believe that learning does not cease just because my formal education has finished. And I believe that I model this for my students by showing this love of learning. I'm constantly learning from my students, building reciprocal relationships with them, seeking out new information and new opportunities, and challenging myself to be a better teacher. I attend professional development not just so that I can grow as a professional, but also so that I can try to make sense of this crazy world. So I do a lot of Google searches for professional development. I use my sick days to go to workshops. I write grants. During the summer, I travel. Because of this, I've had the privilege of connecting with local organizations like the Chicago Foundation for Education, the Chicago Area Writing Project, and the Illinois Holocaust Museum and Education Center. I've also gotten to travel and connect with teachers from all over the country through professional development opportunities through Gilder Lehrman, the National Endowment for the Humanities, and the National Holocaust Educators Network. But professional development is about so much more than strategies for teaching reading and improving my classroom practice. It's an opportunity for educators to learn about ourselves and reinvigorate our commitment to this work. In the summer of 2005, I had the privilege.
And this is the video that professional development that that Tabasura's wheels, so that there is a link in here. You can watch this in YouTube, and there is a beneficial video for you. But we can continue with our slides. So there is a QR code in here. You can scan this code and explain your ideas. What makes a good teacher great? What makes it? What do you think so? You can write it down. And please stop the recording. And if you can click the link, if you can scan the code, QR code, and you can write your own views to the Padlet forum. And I will talk about the YouTube video that I will put the link in here. That is a great video that I will mention. That the main point that what makes a good teacher great is listening to students. When you become a teacher, you need to listen your teachers. That is the students' needs. And the first comment that the speakers make is teachers eat apples. What does it mean, teachers eat apple? And I didn't understand it the first time, but the speaker said, students, when you eat an apple in the classroom or in the corridor, that apple is the symbol of the relationship. And every time a student that saw you while eating an apple, they laugh back, and there is a relationship in here. And some students go to the teacher and give an apple to the teacher, and this is the relationship between teacher and students. The second is teachers need to be chill. Being calm in all situations is what makes a good teacher great. And don't get overwhelmed is an important part. And the third part is think like a kid and act like an adult. Thinking and being emphasized with the students' minds that teachers can understand students. And the fourth part is loving the teaching and learning is an important thing. But also, what makes a good teacher great is that being not a teacher, because teachers cannot solve every problem in the classroom. They can collaborate with the students to engage with them. So this can be what makes a good teacher great. And the fifth one, that we learn our sessions, aha moment. While we are learning riding a bike, our mother hold us and help us to ride a bike. Learning within experiences, we can learn how to bike. But if we are in the classroom, they introduce us bikes, parts, bikes, how to bike riding. If you say, if you are getting an A grade, you can ride a bike. That's nonsense, because the notes that you can get while bike riding is not a reflection of what you can do. So the sixth one is students have a life outside of the school, and teachers must understand this. And the students can be reluctant to go to the class, or the students can have problems in their families, in their home, in their lifestyle. Also, teachers can help the students, and teachers can have what they notice when students are struggling with something. And students wait and watch the whether a teacher rescue the student or not. And a student said, a good teacher can think. And this is what makes a good teacher great, a deep quotes. And the last part is teachers need to be both deep of knowledge, but also teachers need to be deep understanding of students, need to understand the students. And in 0 years, in no years, we teach our students to how to listen. So this is a great missing part. And you can your own views in here, and you can contribute us. We will be appreciated. And this is the summary. Today, I will talk about continuing professional development for new teachers, because learning is a process. Teaching is a process that when you become a teacher, our knowledge is instituted somewhere, but you also need to develop yourself in that period standards, and you need to be enhance your mind with new techniques, new strategies. How can you develop yourself? How can you be more beneficial to your students? And there are 6 opportunities that you can find, and there are also other parts that you can find. Observation, you can observe your peers, you can observe your mentors, qualified teachers. By observing, you can understand the students, the school's atmosphere, the school's culture, the classroom's culture. Also, you can attend CPD sessions. You can enhance your studies with upper grades. Also, you can read forums like this. You can find this and read this. Also, you can find membership of professional bodies or networks. And lastly, you can action research in the classroom. The second part is target setting for new teachers. We learned S.M.A.R.T mnemonic, and we had an activity in here. Success as a new teacher. We learned 2 teachers' experiences, and when you become a teacher, you have own experiences that can help your students. And then we watched a video about continuing professional development that you can find this website, and I will upload. I will assess in the below. So then we will talk about what makes a teacher great. And sorry. And we had a quiz today, 5-question quiz. I congratulate all of you for your answers. And these are important YouTube links that I can find it very beneficial, very important tips for new teachers that you can click this website, and I will mention below. This website is very useful for me, and I will assure that you can find this very beneficial. You can watch this video, and this is the end of my session. Thanks for listening to me. And the below one, this is my email address. You can ask me a question whenever you want. Also, you can ask your questions below the comments parts. And thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Have a nice day. See you later. Stay safe.